a coffee shop diagonally opposite, they're going to put a coffee shop here and a coffee shop here. So if there's a building here, and it takes you 2.5 minutes to come down in an elevator, and it takes you another 7 minutes to cross diagonally to the opposite side, they're going to capture that trade. By putting a coffee shop there, you've already demonstrated demand. Calculated industry has already demonstrated demand. What they haven't done, I don't think, because I don't have one, they haven't fulfilled the value proposition. It does no good for me. It's a default choice because there's nothing else out there. And people who have never held an HP or an SR50A or a 56 or whatever else I saw around here don't care. It's in Home Depot. Yes, ma'am.
I think one of the markets that's there, but that you can tell people about, are the professors in the colleges and universities that are science bent or mathematically bent. That's would be one of the areas that really need to be looked at. Also, with the calculators and the probes, because it gives a better experience to the science student than just trying to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I don't know, I totally agree with you. I think, I don't know whether it's arrogance or we've just been around them so long that their virtues are self-evident to us. And there are generations out there that have never held it. They don't have time to investigate and explore and gain proficiency. They don't have time to go through all those stages. So how do you make it a compelling alternative to an Android and iPhone? Jeff again? And then
you mentioned an advantage that runs through all of these applications, whether it's blue collar or white collar or nerdly or not, which is personal. That when you get on a computer and give somebody a solution, so I got on the computer and I got the information for you, they say, oh, you're real good at looking things up. But if you get a calculator and come up with it, the image is different. It's like you're smart or something. Because when you do it on a calculator, you did it yourself. When you do it on a computer, the whole world helped you do it.
I will get to Peter, but I just want to give you a small anecdote. I'm trying to debug a security panel from Honeywell. And the RS-232 protocol requires two's complement. So you need to send in an RS-232 command and you need to formulate the two's complement, which is a modulo 256 of the sum of the ASCII. I'm running back and forth from the DMARC to my laptop, trying to find a site which gives me two's complement and an ASCII sum. You know what? That running back and forth costs the client $55. Would I pay $60 for having that capability on a handheld device? A handheld device? Sure I would. I'm sorry, I don't know who was next. Peter was next, and then that gentleman.
Blessing Tim, think of your survey project today.
Yes, exactly.
A hardened case with essentially a specific piece of software that could be replaced with another piece of software. But the case and the calculator would stay the same. Now, you can't expect the guy on the construction site to use your case. It's too big and bulky. But I've watched it, like Pavneet said, you go to Lowe's and you go Home Depot. Those calculators are way overpriced for what they're for-banger calculators.
Exactly.
The only difference is they got a bright yellow color so everybody can see them when you drop them somewhere.
So let me turn that question around there, because it's not a question of just, is there a market there? A large company like HP will look at something like this and say, how can we possibly support these people on a construction site dealing with this specific device that needs to communicate with this Honeywell thing when we have nobody that has any knowledge internally to support this?
Sorry, Tim, I wasn't even talking about communication. I just wanted two's complement on my calculator.
But that's the way they're going to look at it. They're going to say, we don't have surveyors that can support this. We need to create all this expensive support information and support this product. We can't just put it out there.
No, but they
have
don't.
that support question.
All they have to do is support companies like the one we used to work for. So the model that HP can use is to say, look, we need to encourage software people to write these specialized programs to get these things into these kinds of locations. Right? So what you guys are doing is still essentially selling hardware and some of the support around it. but it's third parties who are actually.
I would
building
disagree.
software.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say, it's a couple different business models.
Yeah,
I think you're describing one in which you kind of create off-base
An app
hardware,
store.
and then it's
I'm
an
not
open
talking-
kind
yeah.
of environment where people can create.
I'm not
apps
talking
for
about
it.
an
I
app
think
store.
what you're talking about, maybe, let me know if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like you're saying create these devices that are capable of being able to be programmed by HP to do a specific task and do it really well. And it's meant, I mean, let's take the pharmacy example again. It's got this dashboard or interface that's very easily accessible, very friendly, and it's familiar to someone who is a pharmacist, right? It's in a language they understand, and the functions they need are right there at their fingertips, right? And it's a lot like the one thing I've been noticing about the 15C and 12C is that really, in a lot of ways, it seems like it's just the buttons that change, if you will, in the way that, I mean, the things you want are right up there in front of you, as opposed to the scientifics up front or the financials up front. And it really is a question of interface and giving them what they're needing to do and doing it quickly.
Yeah, I'm talking about an HP sanctioned set of products, partly because of distribution and partly because these type of customers they don't buy iPhone apps.
Right.
They just want to go into Home Depot or someplace, or their pharmacy supply store, and pick up a device, or they want to order it from a sailing supply store.
Right. No, I think Tim.
Sorry. Sorry.
I was just going to say, let me put on my quick hat again.
Yep.
So I look at that and I say, okay, so we have these small things, and yet we have.
Small is relative. I actually went and looked.
Small is how big can you realistically, with numbers and data, back up the size of this market?
The number of pharmacists in the U.S. as of 2001 is 200,000, and each one does the same job.
Then I say, and so if something goes wrong with my device and I send out this thing and do something wrong, that's a lot of liability. I'm doing
That,
medical stuff.
yeah, that's fair.
When
I
we
mean,
have
that,
all this extra stuff, we don't know, we don't have experience in the market, we can't support this, or we feel we cannot, even if it is a limited set of devices.
I'm encouraging HP to go outside the comfort zone, because if Jeff designs a power system using that 15C that he received today and something goes wrong, it's the same issue. But we're comfortable in the fields that we have grown up in.
Right. Well, I think I see Tim's point here too, and I can totally see both sides here, because, I mean, I think there really is a place for vertical integration, which is essentially what you're talking about here.
And not only, and keep in mind, I talked about constrained markets, right?
I agree, but I'm just saying that the things you've spoken about so far are really specific vertical markets.
Right.
And I think that there's a few things go along with that, right? The product development and delivery of that's one thing, but then, interacting with those people is another whole other thing too. And I think from the management perspective, they'll help with that just because it's a whole new thing, right? And as Tim said, the support infrastructure out there, I mean, and I'm not trying to be negative here.
No, I'm like, I deal with this issue in other areas, but
But I think-
management is asking you to expand the market, and then it's saying, expand the market within the traditional consumer whose median age is 50
Right,
plus.
who's bringing on new technology by and large.
How does that work? I mean, you can point out the fallacy in that logic. So I've been in management meetings, and that, it's just, sorry, there was a gentleman here, and then I'll get,
Oh, I just wanted to make a comment. Maybe the time has passed, but what the calculator, one thing it's lacking, I think, is you produce a solution, but everyone makes mistakes. I might have mistyped a number. It's important that you can verify that you have, say later, you present your solution, but someone else can check it. And you can't tell them, oh, I typed it in my whatever calculator and it gave me that number. That doesn't cut it. I think unless there is another way, and I don't know, but that's one of the downsides. It is with calculators, they may be very personal and have all these advantages, but if you can't easily sort of
So you're saying transparency to the way you got to the solution?
yes,
yeah, but,
I mean,
but that's a staggered product, because again, going back to Fluke, and I don't know if some people might know about Byte Brothers, okay, Richard's calling me, last answer. They do data network checks. So you have staggered products. The entry-level products don't do any data retention, and if you go to $1,000 point, all of a sudden you can interface with your PC, download the data, and print it to your heart's content.
Tim, one of the things you need to do, instead of letting them come to you, you need to go to where they are. You need to
Exactly.
go to their annual meetings, American Association for the Advancement of Science, the mathematics professors' meetings, the American Medical Association have programs ready for them to show the people what they can do. And that way, all you have to do is set up a booth, and you may want to run some program small group sessions, and that way you can get to your customer.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm sorry.
We recognize that, yeah, I mean, the limited resources, like, the
It's not- I
10B2
was gonna say, it's
is
not so
in,
much that, it's actually speaking the language of the vertical
Right.
market too, though. I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges I find with, like, for instance, take real estate, that's what I was so comfortable with the scanners, right? But, I mean, the idea is you try to engage this market, you really have to speak their language. And
Absolutely.
right now, the only languages we know are science and finance and engineering,
That's
right?
why
We
you
speak
need to
those
hire
very
some
well.
people that
But-
speak their language.
Right, no, I know, and that's what I'm saying, but our team of 5 people, whatever it is now, is quite limited in our guidance. So I'm not saying that we won't do it, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. All I'm saying is that we will probably need to choose our battles pretty wisely as far as what we'd want to do initially, so that we have a very successful first foray into this whole idea. Because right now, we're generalists, if you will, in the sense that engineers can apply it for electrical engineering or, hydro engineering, whatever.
but how are you
But you
attracting
already
new
have-
engineers
No, no, I totally
and
agree.
finance
Yeah,
people?
we're not-
We're attracting them because it's the only calculator that'll work on an exam.
totally understand.
That's not engendering brand loyalty the way it did for us.
Totally.
Our generation, we did it because it really solved the problem for us, a genuine problem. Now, whether we like it or not, the marketplace has changed. We have lots of devices that solve those problems. I still think that a physical button device has value in the market. It's just addressing perhaps a different type of customer. Felix, I guess the last question, and then Richard's gonna kick me off.
I have to say that I have a lot of sympathy with Tim because the liability problem is probably there. I programmed, there are about 140,000 attorneys in Germany, plus 2,000 patent attorneys. And each one of them use a table to calculate certain tariffs because they're for everybody, every day. This is classical of your example. But this is, probably I'm the only one in Germany who programmed a 50G for this table. A colleague of mine did it in Excel and got it wrong. So he distributed this Excel, use my Excel table, and it was plain wrong in one segment because it copied the formula. So this was very embarrassing for the guy, and he could be in a lot of trouble because,
Pharmacy may or may not be the right example, but
So
I
the
can
point-
tell you what they're doing right now. They're using ad hoc Excel spreadsheets,
Yeah, which is also
which are developed in-house.
Right.
Which are full of,
So probably a user library or something like where people could contribute it, then they could reprogram the general program for that purpose. That would work with that. And people need the expertise, in-house expertise.
I'm not saying this is an easy task. I'm just trying to say the traditional market, if it hasn't already narrowed, it's narrowing, and the products that were coming out are fulfilling a mature market. So either you come up with a completely new category of device, or you look for other markets. Thank you.
Thank you very much.